Hello students, we are discussing the subject pharmacovigilance, B Pharmacy final year subject. Today we are going with the topic specialized resources for ADR, lecture number 16 of unit 2. So, ADR I hope you all remember. The ADR full form is adverse drug reaction. There are two common terminologies student, one is do not get confused between these ADR and ADE. Okay, one is ADR adverse drug reaction and the second one is the adverse drug effect, or sometimes it is also adverse drug event. We will tell you. So, in this we are dealing various sources on information basically which focused on the adverse drug effect. Okay, the adverse effect after taking the drug, the patient one should go and respond to their pharmacovigilance executive or to directly their physician. Okay. So, you know we have several adverse drug reaction reporting forms also available with us. It is different in different countries, like in India we have yellow card system. Okay. One more is there which is known as the suspected adverse drug reaction form, which is different from adverse drug reaction form. Okay. So, once I am again telling you in brief the difference between adverse drug reaction and adverse drug effect, we can say, or event. Okay. So, the drug, every individual drug belonging to any class, it is not only associated with the therapeutic or the pharmacological aspect. Okay. That is why it is nothing is ideal, we can say. Everyone is having little demerit limitation associated with this. Again for drugs same definition also permits. Drug is also associated with the desirable and undesirable. Undesirable means the adverse drug reaction, or sometimes it is adverse drug effect or adverse drug event. So, student, the slight difference between ADR and ADE is that if the side effect or the adverse effect, adverse with the health part of the patient, adverse just opposite is related to the pharmacology or the therapeutic property of the active pharmaceutical ingredient, it is considered as adverse drug reaction. And if the pharmacology of the drug is not associated with the active pharmaceutical ingredient property, it is known as the adverse drug event. Okay, event means the same type of adverse response occurring in certain gap of time. It may vary from individual to individual. Okay. So, this is a little bit about ADR and ADE. So, we have various adverse drug reaction reporting forms also, various sites are also there where you should go search and report the adverse effect you are facing against which class of drug you are using. Okay. Now, coming to the source of various information on the adverse effects of drug. So, if we need a more detailed information about the what are the various adverse effect associated with different class or category of drugs, we can go for standard reference book. Reference means standard book where we have which we have to refer. Okay. Books on adverse drug effects, like I am quoted here. One is Mayer's Side Effect of Drugs. This is very good book, you can get it, it is available online also. Second is the side effect of drugs annuals, in short it is SEDA, SEDA means side effects of drug annuals. Annually the drug reported globally different adverse effects or side effect that are quoted in this SEDA book, the side effects of drug annuals. Next, I hope some of you heard about this drug Martindale. It is very famous pharmaceutical sciences book, Martindale, the complete drug reference. The complete drug reference means you will get here alphabetically, the taxonomically the classification of drug according to their category and their side effect associated with updated adverse drug reaction along with the reference. Reference means from where you can get. It may be any journal, any URL link, any website. From checking or taking that link to the internet source, you will have a detailed paper. You can go for that paper for the detailed information on that particular drug. Okay. Next is the complete drug reference. Again, there is a Davies textbook of adverse drug reaction. So, I hope in your library also you will have Davies and Martindale. These are two important textbooks for study in the clinical pharmacy, we can say the clinical pharmacotherapy or the adverse effect when you are dealing these subjects, or even pharmacovigilance directly we say. Second is the regulatory authorities. They also have to refer these information, the sources on information resources on adverse drug reaction. The regulatory authorities may sometimes also issue the various safety alerts for a variety of commercial products. Commercial products means those medicaments or the substances, prepared formulated products which are there for the human use. Okay, commercial products based on the information submitted to them. Who will submit these information? Yes, the researcher can submit, the sponsor who are doing the clinical trial, they can collect the adverse drug reaction information and submit to them to the regulatory authority, and also the manufacturers. Manufacturers are very important stakeholder to report the adverse drug reaction to the regulatory authorities. Okay, students. So, the information report submitted to the higher regulatory authorities which have not been sometimes published or made available elsewhere. After reviewing proper these adverse drug reaction information, the regulatory authorities and the evaluation committee members will re-evaluate and signed on that particular draft, and then this draft will convert into a review and it will be published and circulated, disseminated globally for the reach of every student, individual researchers. He or she may be any academician, physician, any paramedical healthcare professional. Okay. So, example of safety bulletins can also be found. Apart from these textbook and the resource, the information provided by the manufacturers, physician of any class of drug about their adverse effect, apart from that there are several safety bulletins. Okay, links are also available, we will discuss in our later few slides. Sources of information on ADR we are discussing. So, one by one in different country wise, when we are talking about the United Kingdom, okay, current problems in pharmacovigilance, we have for this the site named www.mhra.gov.uk. Okay. Second, for Australia, the Australian adverse drug reaction, the bulletin or the website name is www.tga.gov.au/ADR/AADRB.htm. Students, you can go, I am telling you, you can select this web link and search individually through the Google search engine. You will get what are the various forms of ADR reporting and how individual can approach and report their adverse drug reaction to the regulatory authority or any PV executive member. Next is for Europe. In the European Public Assessment Report, will get the information from the European Medicines Evaluation Agency. There is an agency named European Medicine Evaluation Agency, and the web link is www.EMEA. EMEA here stands for European Medicines Evaluation Agency .eu. EU means European Union. And next is, this is I hope everyone knows, the US FDA guideline or the US FDA. In the United States, we have Food Drug Administration, FDA, MedWatch, and the link is www.fda.gov/medwatch. So, student, what is MedWatch? Again, it is the online link for the drug dictionary. You can say you have seen the MedDRA, Vigilance online dictionary. Again, for the some medical terminologies text, you can go for this MedWatch. Okay. Coming to next, specialists who are working on that particular area, specialist drug information database are prepared. Database means again the system based, computer system electronic data capture are prepared, such as where you can go and search for the full text. Okay, the information, complete detailed information on that particular active pharmaceutical ingredient or the chemical moiety, such as the full text database. Some of the examples I have quoted here, like Pharma News, okay, Pharma News Feed and Iowa Drug Information Services, which is in short, it is very famous, IDIS, Iowa Drug Information Services. This will also provide you, this is a electronic database search engine from where you can get, in the search or the title you keep the drug name like losartan, captopril, okay, and after entering you will have the detailed therapeutic and adverse drug reaction depending upon the geographical area of different peoples, okay, who are reported different ADR and how to manage that ADR also. Next is bibliographic database. Bibliographic database means, student, bibliography is the reference, or at the end you will see in the paper, in the scientific articles or in the magazines also, at the end you will found there are references or bibliography from where you can have the detailed information of the text which you are reading or interested to search for. Okay. So, the bibliographic database examples are Derwent drug file. One example is Derwent drug file, Toxline, and another is the Farmline. Apart from that, some referred summary databases are also available in the internet. Example like DrugDex and one is XPharm. I hope you heard about this XPharm. It is common. XPharm pharmacological experiments. Some of you have done in this pandemic situation when there is online classes going on. So, XPharm series of experimental pharmacology, same, it is available for drug information resources as drug information center. You will search, put this XPharm series of experiments in the Google search engine, you will have a number of experiments available online. Go by clicking the link, you can able to perform the list of experiments. Next is the WHO UMC. UMC here is Uppsala Monitoring Center, which is the pharmacovigilance head, we can say, situated in the Sweden. So, World Health Organization Uppsala Monitoring Center, this website is UMC www.whoumc.org. Okay. From that also you can have a large number of database from where you can get different individual class of drug and their adverse drug reaction information. For special searches of their spontaneous reporting database, you have to follow the Wiki base. Okay. Students, apart from that Wiki, remember this, the Wiki is basically for vigilance. The subject we are dealing with, pharmacovigilance. Okay. So, Wiki base, one search engine is Wiki base, same as we have Wiki Med. Med is for medicine search engine. Okay. Then we have Vigilize, VIGI is for vigilance, Lize, LYZE, analyze karna, Vigilize. Okay. We have so many database search engine for study the adverse drug reaction of different class of drugs. However, the rank order of most common adverse drug effects or events which are reported for one particular single drug and reached to the UMC database. How it reached to the UMC database? After several reviewing and referencing. Okay, when it will reach to the Uppsala Monitoring Center database, it was found to differ from the data derived from a meta-analysis of double-blind and randomized trial. So, let me explain you last two lines, student, to you. Differ from the database derived from the meta-analysis. So, you should know what does this word mean. Meta-analysis means at the end when we have so many sequence of experimental procedures, methodology, at the end we have to meta-analyze the outcome or the findings, we can say the results of different studies. For example, I am telling you different studies like we have in case of clinical trial studies, we have a student the RCT, NRCT. RCT means randomized clinical trial, NRCT means non-randomized clinical trial. And if we are talking about pharmacoepidemiological studies, student, we have case series, case reports, case control studies, cohort studies. Okay, I hope you remember cohort again in prospective and retrospective cohort studies. So we have a number of different methodology, or we can say the screening procedures for different class of drugs based on the clinical volunteers and also on the preclinical animal based studies. So when we get the data of performing these experiments, at the end we are going with the meta analysis part. Here we need the role of biostatistician, because statistics is required here to analyze. Meta means in big, in mass, analyze to compile the single result on that particular API. What is the major ADR reported on that class of drug, which should be avoided, because we have to save the patient's life. We have to focus on the safety and efficacy of that particular drug towards the human beings. Okay, students, so meta-analysis of double blind. Double blind means, students, both the patient and the researcher doesn't know what the treatment is going on that particular trial. And the randomized trial, again we are allotted in trial, the volunteer is randomly selected. Next, primary surveillance data. Again, primary is directly related to the physician and the patient information in form of spontaneous case report. Spontaneous means in expedited, we can say sudden. Spontaneous case reports are also freely available via the websites of regulatory authorities which are there in the developed countries like in Canada, USA, UK and also in the Netherlands. However, the format of the information, drug related ADR information, varies between different countries to countries, okay, considerably, and the interpretation as well as the analysis of these ADR related information are present or found from the various electronic capture database, and this ultimately required the specialist skill. So it means without taking any training on that database, like I am telling you in the previous slide, Wiki search engine, we have to train on that search engine. These are all electronic database system, same as like computer software, you have Oracle, Java. So you should, before going or searching on your interest topic on that database, we should have proper training. We should be skilled on that field. Okay. Next, there are again searching electronic database for adverse effects by following various index terminologies. Like index terms, index you should know the contents, where all the contents are reported in a side way, also known as the controlled vocabulary or the thesaurus terms. Again, the thesaurus means index, the content, okay, such as the medical subject heading. You should know ME small sh. ME means medical subject of heading, medical subject heading. You will get this type of indexing in Medline and ME tree type of indexing in case of MBase. Okay, this is difference. You have to remember the MESH means the medical subject heading. You will found this type of index in Medline, while ME tree in the MBase are assigned to record various adverse drug reaction like responses of different class of drugs in the electronic database to describe, to help the researchers, academicians, clinicians. Okay. Medline and MBase employ full useful indexing terms for the adverse effects. They also include the terminologies like drug toxicity. Toxicity means the toxicological, unwanted adverse effects of that particular drug in the terminology of adverse drug reaction ADR system in Medline. Okay. And in case of MBase, you will find the drug toxicity and adverse drug reaction. However, the most important useful way to search or to get updated detailed information on any NCE or the drug moiety, the adverse effect is by using subheading. That is why we are focusing on the index or the reference sections in the electronic database or electronic capture database system. By using subheadings, What are these subheadings? These can be attached to the index term to describe specific aspect of that particular condition or the illness of the patient. For example, side effect of the drug or the complication. Side effect, it can be undergone or went after we can withdraw that particular drug. Okay, side effects can be gone. Oh, okay, or after metabolism or elimination the drug from the body, that side effects can be normal, the patient become normal. Okay, or any other complications anyone may face after surgery, or they can be used when they are searched for attaching to any index terms. Here attaching index term means the complement or the supplementary, or it is sometimes known as the floating subheading. The subheading used to denote the data on adverse effects which ultimately differ in the major database indexing, which you will find in the Medline and in the Embase database search engine. I am giving you one example. Aspirin. Aspirin is a potent analgesic drug, student. It is coming under NSAID class, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. So, in case of if you are searching for Medline, you will get aspirin oblique adverse effect. When you are going for Embase search engine, you will not found this brand name. You will get its generic and trade name, acetyl salicylic acid, as compared to aspirin. So, it is what? It is the trade and the generic name of aspirin, acetyl salicylic acid oblique ADR in Embase. Okay. So, this is an example. In medical standard subject heading terminology, aspirin is written along with the ADR as subheading, while in emetry terminology there is acetyl salicylic acid is written along with the adverse drug reaction or ADR in subheading. So, within a database, when we are talking about Medline and Embase, these are two databases used for ADR studies, there may be they may be indexed under the name of the intervention. Intervention means what type of searching you required for that particular drug. Intervention together with the subheading to denote that adverse effect occurring at which depth, what type of measurement you required to remove to recover the patient from ADR. For example, aspirin oblique adverse effect. This is one example. Another one is the mastectomy, means in case of breast cancer, either we have to go for some tissue or some part of breast removal, or we have to remove both the breast or their associated complications. Another example is the adverse event itself sometimes may also be indexed together with the nature of the intervention. Okay. Another one more example I am telling you, the gastrointestinal hemorrhage, or after taking aspirin, because it will also lead to GI hemorrhage, maybe external or internal bleeding occurs, lymphedema after surgery. Occasionally there are various articles which may be indexed only under the adverse event. For example, like hemorrhage on chemically induced agent. Chemically induced means the drug, after taking certain class of drug, the patient is reporting for the internal hemorrhage. In the last, I am telling you the subheadings or the sub-indexing or the floated subheading, how you can report. Subheading that can be used with the intervention or sometimes with all interventions, which is considered as floated, give you important information in Medline as well as in Embase system of indexing. It will tell you about the detailed adverse effect, about the poisoning of different class of agents, the associated toxicities, because we are here focusing about the side effects and adverse drug reactions, about their contraindications. Contraindication means, students, where when we are not supposed to prescribe or to give this drug to special class of people, or the patient affecting from cardiovascular disease or GI disorder, gastrointestinal or any neuropsychiatric disorder, or to the pregnant or pediatric or to the lactating women. Okay, these are contraindications. Subheadings that can be used with the adverse outcome or with all outcome will prove, in case of Medline, about the clinically induced. clinically induced agent or the drug. After taking that particular drug, the patient is responding this type of adverse effect or adverse drug reaction and their associated complications. This is a student for Medline. Okay. And in last, I am telling you about the Embase search engine. In this case, we have same terminology for the search of adverse drug reaction in aspect of drug toxicity. Okay. Drug means the treatment part. After that treatment, before its elimination, it will go to certain organ or tissue and it will show the toxicity of that particular cells and tissues. So, ADR along with the drug toxicity and their complication with slight side effects. Okay. Side effect is different from ADR and adverse drug event. That is why in above I have written adverse drug reaction along with the drug toxicity and its associated complication along with the small slight side effects which can be gone or the patient may feel better when he or she withdrawn or stop that particular drug. So, this is all about today's lecture. See you in next lecture. Thank you.